Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. And here you found the goodest good possible, the greatest show about happiness, joy on the internet. Finding happiness and joy with Edwin and Barry. There is no greater show on earth. Welcome. Get ready. Buckle up, because you're about to find happiness and joy. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you tuned in consciously and conscientiously to the greatest podcast on earth, featuring happiness and joy embodied in two fascinating beings who dedicate their lives to channeling happiness and joy. My name is Barry Shore. I'm known as the Ambassador of Joy, and I'm honored and humbled to share you with the Chief Happiness Officer for the world, Edwin Edwin. Edwin, would you please say hello to approximately
hello,
12,880 people around the world?
Yes, I am definitely excited to be here, Barry. I look forward to today every single time. I look forward to this show because we have opportunity to impact people's life. So yes, I am Edwin Edebiri, the Chief Happiness Officer, and I am hanging with the Ambassador of Joy. What a combination, folks. You know, you're kind of wondering, should it be happiness or should it be joy? We have solved that. You don't need to worry about it. Let's just combine happiness and joy and let's be happy. Right, Barry? Let's do this.
Absolutely. Hear what he just said? We solved it. It's happiness and joy. It's the coin of the realm. You know, it's interesting. As a term we used to use, the coin of the realm. And a coin has two sides. One side has H, the other side is J, happiness and joy in whatever language you speak. And of course, we want you to speak the language of love and the language of the mind, because Edwin is going to share with us that you don't want to be ruled by your emotions. You want the mind to lead. I'm just going to lead off today by saying, we have a particular date. The date is June 22nd. Why is that important? Because yesterday, June 21st, was called the summer solstice. In the Northern Hemisphere, it's the beginning of the summer. And when you hear summer, I mean, you just tingle when you even hear the word summer. I'm tingling because it means sunshine. It means fun. It means life. It means everything that you feel happiness and joy about. So I'm going to ask Edward to speak about it at length for a moment. I just want to mention that summertime is equivalent to the word fun. Now, fun in our language, the language of Edwin and Barry, because we speak the language of positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Fun is the ultimate four-letter FU word. What? Barry Shore. Fun is only spelled with three letters. Not in our world. In our world, fun is spelled F-U, capital N, capital N. Because whenever you think of fun, I want you to think of F-U, capital N, capital N. It's the ultimate four-letter word. So after the podcast, you see your family and friends. I want you to point your finger and tell everybody, F-U, capital N, capital N. Where'd you get that? So I listened to Barry and Edwin, Happiness and Joy, and they want to teach the world to F-U. But he added right away, capital N, have a smile on your face, a twinkle in your eye. And now you got their attention. You say, what is that all about? So I'm going to urge you to listen to Edwin as he's going to begin to discuss with you what the idea of summer, fun, and most importantly, happiness, letting your mind over your emotions. How's that wonderful, Edwin?
Hey, that is just beautiful. I love the summer. I love the sun. As a matter of fact, Barry, I always feel like I am a sun in the sky. Okay. I always feel like I am a sun in the sky. And I challenge everybody everybody to be a sun in the sky. It's a breath of fresh air, It's kind of like it's like when everything gets really muddy up and get dark, and then you see these things start coming up and start coming up, and then it shines light, and it's like kinetic energy, okay? So this is why, always, folks, always. I can say for myself, but I know Barry is, and I challenge each and every one of you, thousands and thousands of you that are watching this, to be a sun in the sky. Folks, it is exciting, okay? One of the things, I tell people, sometimes folks get hit by something really bad and they want to go under the bed and cover themselves with a blanket, you are taking away the very thing that can help you, okay? When things get tough, that's not when you tuck in under the blanket, because the blanket cover all the light, and you need the sunshine, you need that light. You need to step out of wherever you are and take a walk to the park. And take a walk to the park and get that sunlight to give you that extra energy, that extra motivation. And that when you are done, you are like, hey, wait a second. I don't even remember what I was going on. I'm so pumped up. I'm so energized. That's the natural energy that comes from the sunlight. Folks, a light inside your room cannot do it. Sure, there's technology to try to stimulate sunlight in the room. That's fine. But there's nothing like that light that comes from the outside. And Barry, I'm going to talk a little bit more later about the difference why some people who live in a place that have very short period of sunlight during the day are a little bit more depressing and more moody than the people that live in the area that have a lot of sunlight. We'll talk about that, but for now, let me throw it back to you. What do you think?
I think that you are urging people to accept the challenge to be the sun in the sky. Listen to what he just said. First of all, sun, S-U-N, sky, S-K-Y, and then I want you to think of something called hair. Hair, what are you talking about, Barry Shore? Well, Hair was one of the great musicals from when I was growing up in the 60s and 70s. We have this song, Let the Sun Shine, let the sunshine, let the sunshine in. Because remember, we want to teach the world to F-U. F-U, capital N, capital N. What are you talking about, Barry Shore? F-U, capital N, fun. Because that's what happens with the sun. You have fun in the sun. Fun, F-U-N-N, stands for focus, which is what we want you to do. Be able to focus on you being that beaming light. Focus unleashes, you ready for this? Yes. N, never-ending energy. Just like wonderful Edwin just told us. He mentioned energy. There are some people in the audience might say, well, Barry Shore, energy is spelled E-N-E-R-G-Y. Yes, it is, but it's pronounced energy. The N. So F-U, capital N, everybody. Focus unleashes never-ending energy. I want to share with you one data point, and I want to go back with Edwin on something to let him expound on it. We live on planet Earth. Planet Earth, by the way, is known as the water planet because that's what really gives us life. We are 79.2% water. What makes the water enable things to grow is the sunshine. Without the sunshine, the water is just there. Okay, it's teeming with life, but it needs the water, it needs the earth, it needs the sunshine to make things blossom and bloom. As he said, get rid of the blanket that's covering you. It may be a physical blanket, it may be a mental blanket, but you want to remove that. Now, guess what? You know how much larger our sun is than the earth? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
1,000,000 times.
Wow.
Yes. If you make a dot on a piece of paper, take an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and just make a dot on it. The dot is the earth and the rest of the paper is the sun. That's who you are. You are the sun, and the world needs you. It needs your light. It needs you to channel. So I want to ask you, my dear beloved friend Edwin, what is it about the tension that exists between the emotions that people have that rule them and the mind? How can we make it the switch so people can live in joy and happiness and joy every single day? Because I know you can do it. How do we do that?
Well, Barry, before I answer that, I want to touch on this very powerful illustration that you just did with the health and the sun. And you say that if you put a small dot on paper, that small dot is the earth and the whole white paper is the sun, right?
Right.
So now let's take that a step further. When you go to a classroom and you put a dot on paper and have people describe what they see, okay? You put a dot on paper and you have people describe what they see. What do they see? They focus on the dot. Okay, right. They focus on the dot. Now, the dot is only one small peck on the paper. They don't look at the white space that there. They don't look at the sun that is shining on them. So what we are saying today, folks, and Barry and I are saying, don't focus on the dot. The dot might be a life throwing you a curveball. Okay, the dot might be you got fired from a job. Just because you get fired from the job doesn't mean you ignore your family, you ignore your friends, you ignore all the wonderful things you've done. Those are the sun that surround that small peck. Focus on what's going well. Focus on what's working, not what's not working. Now, let's go a step further than that, Barry. You know what the sun does? It actually increases the serotonin that comes into us, okay? And I know you like acronym, okay? You like acronym. You are the master, okay? You are the genius of acronym, okay? But there's one small tiny acronym that I know, and it's called SAD, okay? SAD, all right? Now, SAD, stands for sad, right? People are sad, okay? People are sad. Sad is not good. But SAD also stands for seasonal affective disorder. Seasonal affective disorder is a kind of depression that is result of staying out of sunlight, okay, for too long. So if you feel like you have a seasonal affective disorder, I'm telling you, it is worth it. Pack your bag and move from where you are and move to some sunlight, okay? And it usually will solve it, or find a way to bring sunlight to you, because that's the power of sunlight, Barry. It is exciting.
Okay, let's unpack something here that wonderful Edwin mentioned to us. First of all, I need to say again, so everybody understands, this particular podcast that we have done and put together has nothing to do with Edwin, great guy that he is, not Barry Shore, wonderful fellow that he is. This is all about you. YOU. You becoming the best you possible, because when you're the best you build more bridges of harmony, you create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. So we're talking about summer, fun. Remember, fun. We want to teach the world to F-U, capital N, capital N. You got to have both ends, not just one. Focus, as wonderful Edwin just mentioned to us, focus unleashes never-ending energy. What's the point of understanding to have fun in the sun? Everybody thinks of the summer. They think, wow, long days, bright sunshine. Oh, I love it. I have plans to do this, plans to do that. And in the end of the summer, sometimes those plans, well, I didn't do all that. Well, talking about focus, let's just do a small shift in perspective. Now, as I mentioned before, wonderful Edwin, Shift is the title of my newest book, which is available, by the way, for free. Everybody can get my book, Oh Shift, for free. Go to barryshore.com, BarryShore.com /ebook. It's yours for free. But here's the great news about Shift. I've been working with people for 42 years. 97.2% of all people I work with drop the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. So you got to be effing careful to keep that F. And what is F? F is the first letter in the FU word. FU, capital N, capital N. Focus, as wonderful Edwin has told us, can remove you just a tiny shift. We're talking about moving inches from the sad into the glad, into the happy and full of joy. Every single day, it's yours. It is your birthright. That is the essence of what we call being a human. But I'm going to ask you, wonderful Edwin.
Yes.
You've mentioned it before, and I love hearing it. I want to hear it again. What is it about being happy? How does one do that? And can one do that on a regular basis? What's one of the ways to do that? Give us an insight.
So Barry, that's a very good question, and thank you for that, because we have been taught all along, and maybe correctly, okay? Maybe correctly. I'm not trying to say it's not correct, but we have been taught all along that happiness is an emotion, okay? And it's correct. It's an emotion, okay? However, we have not been taught to move from it, to change the narrative. Because when we look at happiness as an emotion, we are completely powerless. Okay. We go through emotional roller coaster. When things are good, we are very happy. When we have sunlight, we are very happy. And when there's no sunlight, we are not happy. We just go through that back and forth. And I feel like, and Barry, I believe this with every cell in my body, that is too much wear and tear on our very existence to go through that emotional roller coaster. So I went out and I started to talk to people about happiness one by one. This is not over the phone. This is face to face. And I end up doing it in about 4 different continents. So that goes to tell you, people are people everywhere you go, okay? And then, Barry, what I find out was that the people that can change the narrative, the people that can move away from strictly happiness as an emotion, and they get to happiness as a skill, they change the whole narrative. It's just an awareness. We talk about the power of sunlight and everything we talk about, and you talk about fun with a capital N and a capital N. All of those things are skills that people can learn. And all I am saying is add happiness to that set of skills. What can you learn that you can become good at that can help to increase your happiness? So at some point, Barry, we're going to start giving folks some skills that they can learn, and they start out with just the awareness that they have that power, to be able to say, you know what, maybe I am not happy right now, but I can learn to be happy. I can look at happiness as a learnable skill. And the moment I get into that part, I unleash all kind of stuff. And that's when I can say, with a degree of certainty, that every single human being not only deserves to be happy, but they can be happy 24/7. That's right. They can be happy 24/7. And Barry, I want you to touch on that for a little bit.
All we are saying is give fun a chance. F-U, capital N, capital N. Let's talk about this beautiful insight that we just gained. If you know how to drive a car, you have a skill. You learned how to drive the car. You learned how to navigate on a street. You learned how to stop. You learned how to go. By the way, if you had to break it all down, it'd be very complicated. And yet now, that is a skill that you own. Guess what Edwin and Barry are sharing with you? You can learn the skill of living in joy daily, living happily 24/7. All we are saying is give
Give
fun a chance.
fun a
Fun,
chance.
fun is the spark that ignites the process that enables you to say, yes, I am going to learn the skills that enable me to be living in joy daily, living happily daily. I can do that. I know I can because I'm a human. I'm going to shift my perspective. I'm going to keep the F in shift so the other stuff doesn't happen. And how do you do that? Remember, it's summertime, it's sun, it's fun, it's happiness, it's joy. Just thinking about being at the water's edge, thinking
Yes.
about being in the mountains, thinking about traveling, thinking about thinking about removing the blanket that darkens you in any way whatsoever and says, I love living in sunshine. And what's the skill? The number one skill I'm going to urge everybody to consider is to learn the following. Joy is an acronym. That's what I am the king of acronyms. Joy is an acronym that stands for Journey of You.
Yes.
You are the author of you. This is your journey. Once you decision to not let the emotions rule and say, I am making the decision to learn the skills necessary, and they're just as easy, or maybe even easier than learning how to drive a car, then guess what? You will be living in joy daily and happiness 24/7. We only have a few more minutes, wonderful Edwin.
Yes.
I'm gonna mention two things that you said. I want to tell people about it again because it's so important. You said, I believe and know, forget even believe, I know with a certainty, that's the word you used, with
Yes.
every cell in my body, that this is not only true, but available to every single human being on the planet. Of course, avoiding situations that are somewhat untenable because of chemical composition. But I want to share with everybody something amazing that I hope you will take to heart. And this gave me a lot of fun recently. F you, everybody, capital N, capital N. I asked the question on search engine, how many cells in the human body?
Right.
And the number came up and I was astounded. I thought, okay, billions, right? Well, it comes out the number I was given was or is 100 trillion cells in the human body.
Whoa.
That's right. Now let's take extensions. Wait a minute. I have 100 trillion cells in my body. Everything happens and works because of the good Lord. I'm created by the Lord to live fully. F-U, capital N, capital N. And then I said to myself, we recently sent the spaceships out or these modules to go beyond where people have ever been able to see the stars and so I said, how many stars are visible not to the unaided eye but to these spacecraft? How many stars? And you know what the answer came back as? Just a number.
What does it come up?
100 trillion. Now, why do I say that? Because that was the same number that came up for cells. And every star that we see, the sun, by the way, is considered a average star. And the sun is 1,000,000 times bigger than the earth. So 100 trillion stars created by the creator. You have 100 trillion cells in your body. If that doesn't make you dance around the room and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, you're missing something. Because Edwin says he believes with certainty, he knows with every cell in his body, trillions of them, that this is available to you. Skills. So Edwin, I ask you, please, one little piece that people can take with them from this particular show, because we're going to do it all through the summer. What can they do in the summer that's going to energize them? One little piece.
Movement. Okay. Movement. Okay. Movement. Movement. I'm going to say that so many times. Movement, movement, movement. Folks, move. Just move. And if you are not in a position where you can move whatever part of you that can move, okay? Just because it empower you that you still have control over something. I tell people, if you can't stand, then move on your chair, okay? Shake your head. Exactly. Just move. Because when you look at why people enjoy dancing, it's because of movement. Okay, whatever part you can move, just move it. I'm telling you, it changes the dynamics of your brain. And like Barry just taught us about the number of cells. Can you imagine, folks, when you move, the number of cells that you move at a time? Okay, and Barry, one of the affirmation that I share every single morning is that every cell in my body is working in harmony with each other. Every cell, they are performing in harmony. It's kind of like going to like a musical orchestra, okay? And you see those bodies moving in harmony. It doesn't matter how many people are there. When they make the sound comes out in harmony. That's what makes performance beautiful. So I want you to move at every chance that you can. And then especially move under the sun, okay? Move under the sun. And yes, some people say, but Edwin, I'm sick. I'm bounded on the bed. Hey, see if they can roll out the whole bed, okay? And move the whole bed, to the sunlight, and get them to move the whole bed, to the sunlight. And then you move whatever part of the body you can move. And if nothing can move, blink, okay? If you can blink, just blink. Because I'm telling you, folks, it is a sign of life when you can move and you are empowered with that. And let's do that and move under the sun. That will be what I will share.
Woo! We love Edwin. Again, I urge you to understand, as wonderful as Edwin is and telling you to move and be in harmony, and as great as Barry Shore is talking about FU, everybody, enjoy. This podcast is about you. YOU. You becoming the best you possible. Using every cell in your body, trillions of, I'm looking up at the sky and seeing the sun 93 million miles away, and knowing that there are trillions and trillions of stars, and you are part of it. You're here, you're now, and that is the greatest possible loving movement that you could ever have. The movement in your mind, the movement in your body, and then share that. Share stands for spreading happiness and rejuvenating energy. One person reaching out to the right, to the left, then you touch 2 to 4 to 8, 16, 32, keep multiplying, and we create a tsunami of goodness around the world. Yes. That's why Edwin and Barry joined together to bring about the greatest symphony that ever could be. And that is making and allowing people to understand, enabling people to understand that happiness and joy is your birthright. It is your currency. It allows you to do everything that is positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant in the world. So we want to just urge everybody after this, point your finger at your family and friends and say, F you, everybody. But add right away, capital N, capital N. Where'd you get that? I said, we listen to Edwin and Barry. They want to teach the world to F you. So with that, we're going to give everybody a wonderful hug that stands for hug stands for harmonizing, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3. And our blessing from Edwin and Barry is go forth, Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad.
Stay
Go make
happy.
a difference. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. And here you found the goodest good possible, the greatest show about happiness, joy on the internet. Finding happiness and joy with Edwin and Barry. There is no greater show on earth. Welcome. Get ready. Buckle up, because you're about to find happiness and joy.